Hey YouTube, Incendar here, today covering some basics I think you should know for the WoW Classic relaunch, and I'll try to keep this really quick today. We'll cover some things like launch realms, launch realm types, Blizzard content, release plans, and anything else that comes to mind as I'm doing this. World of Warcraft Classic is the classic MMORPG relaunch of the original World of Warcraft from 15 years ago. We're looking at a September 27th release, which is next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a name that you don't want anyone to take, you can actually register your name now. Game reservation is live. You can have up to 3 characters as long as you have an active WoW sub. Okay, so let's get right into this. 4K looks smooth. I don't even hear a fan on the Vega 56. Who knows? Maybe you can hit 240 FPS in this at 4K. I expect gameplay to be very smooth on almost every modern hardware out there imaginable. If you can get past the low poly counts, you should be good to go. The colors are bright. Everything's moving really quickly. And just to put this in perspective, this is actual screenshots I have from the original release. And you can see back then, yeah, we actually used to play games at resolutions like that. That is the actual original resolution compared to how 4K is going to look on this. Okay, so the first thing, and probably one of the most important, is a lot of casual players will click just start the game and they don't even look. There's a thing in the top right that'll say change realm. They don't care about that. They just click right past it. And they get in a situation of a realm that they may not want to be in. I'll just cover some of the main things here. Okay, so the way it stands right now as far as servers, are looking at Eastern US PvP, or what's being called in many communities the People's Server. Kill all streamers, influencers, gamerazzi on site. Harad. I hope I get these names right today. For South American, jajaja, for Portuguese, Thalnos. ERP PVE, Bloodsail Buccaneers, if you're into that thing. And the Cancer Server, gamerazzi streamer, influencer, will be Faerlina. One thing new with this launch, if you're familiar with the original launch, we didn't have layering. Layering is basically where you have, in the old ways, we had 2,500 or 3,000 people per server max. With layering, this will create basically multiple instances and have multiple groups of thousands of players. So let's say 20, 30,000 people can start next week on one server and be in different layers. So if you're playing with someone else, you might not see them. The way to resolve that, thank you Wowpedia, is to join a group with them, and then you'll be in the same layer as them. This layering will go away, I believe at the first content patch is when it's expected. This is just to handle the influx of the release. Another thing to keep in mind is the big servers. You're going to have such huge amount of people. It looks like the auction house will be for everyone. So just imagine the possibilities there, right? And moving right along, another thing that I think you should know is this WoW isn't going to be like the private servers where, bam, everything was there. You had Nax. It was the final version of WoW before the Burning Crusade. This is going to be released in phases, and it's going to start something like phase 1 where you got Molten Core and Onyxia. Okay. But you're not going to have Dire Maul or the Dragons or Kha'Zix. So that's an important thing to know, as this game is going to mimic what we went through originally. All the great things like AQ coming out and Nax, the invasion. All that great stuff is going to happen in phases over time. The layering looks to be kicked out at phase 2 that I was just mentioning. But this is going to be the full experience where we can actually... I have no idea what time frame they're going to be doing all this stuff in, but the server is going to progress just like it did in original, which is great. Those events were so much fun. I mean, who doesn't remember the AQ gathering? I think it was weeks or months at a time for that. And yes, if you remember the honor system and those fun grinds to Grand Marshal that people died doing, at some point that's even going to be in the game. So that's just another thing to look forward to. My hype is building on this. I didn't even think, I figured a lot of it's nostalgia, but the hype is building. So I guess the only way to find out is next week. If I disappear for a long time, I'm back into WoW. Thanks a lot for watching today. Hope I helped you out, and I'll see you next time.